Hey guys, welcome to TST Garage. I'm Bart, and in this episode I have a Yamaha YZF-R9 in the shop with me. In this episode we will be converting the DRL unit here in the front of the bike into a DRL / signal function capable lamp through the use of our DRL signal harness that installs mostly toolless under this panel. Yamaha has done an excellent job of making this bike break down with few or no tools, with just removing some push fasteners, popping it off, and giving us access to the connectors. For each side of the procedure, we will be making use of one of these harnesses. Two are contained per kit, as well as a PosiTap connector that will allow us to take the signal lead and hook it up into the signaling wire of whatever the equipment is on the bike currently that is used for signaling. In this case, the OEM signals are inside the mirrors. I know some of you guys will gravitate away from having signals in the mirrors, moving your mirror to the bar or somewhere else, and you'll likely have a different signaling device. Even if you don't have a signaling device in the front, we can still make use of the empty connection behind there, and I'll show you guys how to do that. All right, let's get started. We will be removing these two push fasteners. Just get your nail around the back of it and just comes right out. It's that simple. Next, we will need to remove a friction fastener. It is located right here. We need to dislodge it upwards and just go up the line, unclipping all of the clip features, and this panel just pops right out. Very easy. Now, this wire here has an anchor on this polypropylene piece here. To dislodge the anchor, we will need to squeeze the two tabs on it and push it down. This is what the anchor looks like, and these are the tabs on it that ratchet out. So we need to press these guys together and then push it down, and this is how it comes out. So here we will need to disconnect the male from the female. This tab, when you press it, it'll allow that to happen. We bring our harness from our kit into view. Just make that connection in the logical way here. Okay, now we have this loose wire. On the left side of this bike, the signaling wire is actually brown. On the other side, it'll be green. So we'll make considerations on that side for that step. Here, this gray wire is the left signal in the mirror. So we will need to pull this out. This will make our job here easier. So if this is still present, or you have some kind of signaling device with this male plug here, you will connect on this side. That's the easier method. If you don't have any signals on the front of the bike, chances are you have a hyper flash. I can't guarantee that this will correct your hyper flash depending on what other signaling equipment you have on your bike. So that will be a consideration you have to make. But at the very least, you will need to wire this to the brown wire behind this connector. So you'll have to get in there, and that's where that'll go. But in the case of most installations, there is a signaling device present, so we will connect to that signaling device here on the brown wire. If your signaling device has different wires than brown, blue, and black, then you can locate the appropriate wire by looking at the face of the connector. It will be in this location. Again, on this particular bike, with this equipment, it's brown. We're going to take our PosiTap connector, remove the larger diameter cap from it, and we will get the slit of this cap component around that wire. Now, our shielding here is very tight. It's going to impede our ability to get that connector on. So I'm just going to slice it open longitudinally here, just to give me a little bit extra space to work in. I like to fold this guy back over on itself. There we go. So again, slit of our PosiTap connector onto the wire we are connecting into. Make sure you don't get two wires like I just did. All right. Now the body of this posi tap, where it screws into this cap, it does have a little piercing element. That is what's going to make our connection into that wire for us. So we need to turn it on just tight enough so that piercing element goes through, but not over tighten it as to strain the rest of the cable, the wire, and its shielding. Now we're going to remove the smaller diameter cap from the side that takes the connection into that circuit. I'm going to feed the brown wire from our harness in through the non-threaded side, out of the threaded side, and that gets mated up to the posi tap. I maintain positive pressure on that wire to make sure that it is going to catch as I turn the cap in. And then once I've tightened that, I give it a tug test. If it doesn't come out, it should be good to go. I'll plug this back in, and before we start cable management, I'm going to test the function. Let's power it up. All right, running light is on, and it is flashing in unison with the signaling equipment. So I would say electrically this is good to go. Now we just need to make sure that the wires are properly stowed and kept out of the way. They're not going to rattle loose. Replace this connector here into that panel via its anchor. Could either do that or this one. It really doesn't matter. Our harness comes with the same connector, so let's try it this way actually. Now our harness kit does come with 2 wire ties for cable management. This is where I am going to tie these wires off in a way that they don't get in the way or anything, or rattle out and get by the steering elements. I think my preferred location is going to be around the front of the harness connection here. Just make sure that after the panel, the cover panel installation, we don't cause any strain on the wires, so you gotta make sure that you have proper length there. Okay. Cinch this off, and here's the only tool operation. Trim off the excess of this cable tie, and that's it. Now we proceed to the reverse order of this assembly here. The right side of the bike is essentially the same. There are just a couple nuances that I want to show you guys, so we will actually shoot that installation in detail as well. Let's hop on over to the right side and I'll get you guys set. On the right side of the bike, the removal of the shroud procedure will be largely the same. We need to identify the alternate location for our connector here. Signal connector from the mirror is here in this bundle, and the DRL running light connector is below here. I cannot actually show you where it is, but I can tell you the orientation of it. This tab for unlocking the connector is facing out in this orientation. You'll need to get down there, feel it out, press on it, withdraw it in this direction. Now for myself, it is necessary to get my left hand around the back side of that connector, and my right hand pressing that lock, and then withdraw it that way. All right, that is a little bit difficult. What I showed you this way actually works okay, or around backwards like this works one-handed. It's cumbersome, but it does work, and it prevents us from having to remove a bunch of shrouds. So now, since this connector goes up in there like that, we will need to connect this here and mimic the orientation of that connector going back up. And again, this will be a little bit cumbersome, and Let's go ahead and pass it up above this bar so that it's routed the same way the OEM one was routed. All right, so the main connection is done. Let's give it a test real quick. All right, DRL back on. Now, the rest of this will be vastly the same. Like I mentioned already, on the other side, left side, signal lead is brown, right side signal lead is green. We will be tapping into the green wire here. All right, tug test, pass. Let's get it plugged back in. Make sure the wires are in fact out of the way of all encumbrances here. We'll have to do some cable management, but let's give it an electrical test. Running lights on. And it is flashing in unison with the signal. So we're good there. Let's figure out what to do about cable management here. I like the idea of cinching this bundle off to this here. That'll make it the most secure. All right, we have a nice looking bundle here. All the wires are out of the way. So let's trim that off and we're ready for reassembly of the panel. And that's it. All right, guys, that's pretty much it. Simple, pretty much toolless installation. The parts don't cost a ton and the installation is very simple and quick. That's a triple win for me. Now, I know some of you are going to be inclined to ask if we can make this flash in amber. The answer is no. In this state, as it gets delivered by the factory, there are only white LEDs on board. We would have to manufacture a whole new light unit, and at this point, we do not have the intent to do that. So this is what this part kit is going to provide for you. If you like it, you can head on over to tstindustries.com. We have these parts ready to sell, ready to send to your house, and ready for installation. We also have a growing catalog of parts for this bike and other bikes that you may have in your stable. So check us out, tstindustries.com. Thanks for watching, like and subscribe. See you in the next one.